Thank you to the organisers for this wonderful invitation to present Jellagen. Really looking forward to giving an overview of the journey that we've been on, and really talking to you about our collagen type 0, which is a really new biomaterial that we've purified from jellyfish, focusing in the area of medical tissue regeneration. Okay, for the next slide. Yeah, so the company's mission, we really founded to create a paradigm shift in regenerative medicine, really by transforming, using the properties of collagen type 0 derived from jellyfish to really provide patient clinical benefits. For those in the medical tissue engineering market, many biomaterials are either derived from mammalian sources or are synthetic in nature, and we believe that our 0 would really provide a real next generation opportunity there. So the next slide. So jellyfish is, as I mentioned, is at the real source of a major innovation of Jellagen. As you may know, jellyfish population blooms have exploded over the years and are threatening our oceans, but this nonetheless creates an opportunity. The reason why we have a problem is fourfold, really. We have increasing land pressure for agriculture, which leads to runoff of fertilizers into the oceans. That creates algal blooms, which jellyfish populations feed off. The main issue has been overfishing for many, many years, which has led to a decrease in predator-prey balancing, which means that jellyfish have really sort of exploded as a consequence of not being fed upon by their natural predators. And global warming plays a massive role in terms of where locations of blooms occur in the world's oceans. This is leading to increased global jellyfish blooms, and this paper in 2016, it just gives you an insight of what's going on in Italy and over a 5-year period, and is seeing a 7-fold increase in bloom sightings year on year. But all this is being exacerbated with plastic pollution as well, because many of the jellyfish polyps require rocks or hard surfaces to breed from, and plastic pollution gives them an excellent surface area volume ratio increase to allow them to kind of use this plastic floating in the oceans to then further propagate into the ocean. This enabled Jellagen to be formed. We formed in 2013 and really pioneered sustainable jellyfish harvesting off the Welsh coast. And our focus has been on using this resource for medical collagen innovation. The next slide. So, like all good ideas, from intuition to validation, we started in the shed in Tenby with a blender. That's pretty much it, and a great idea that I knew as a marine biotechnologist that if you start with a novel biological resource, the chemistry will probably be different as well. And I really did feel that jellyfish, being such an ancient living low trophic organism of 600 million years old, a living fossil, if you will, I knew that the collagen extracted from this material would do something different. And indeed, collagen type 0 was discovered from this resource. Preclinical results have proven that our collagen type 0 is superior to mammalian counterparts. And that's really exciting, because this is what we believe is leading to this paradigm shift in collagen chemistry. And because collagen type 0 is a foundational biomaterial in tissue engineering, it has considerable value and potential to work across multi-directional applications of regen med. So that could be from wound healing through to cartilage repair, through to bone regeneration, nerve regeneration, etc. Over the last 5 years, we've grown the company now from a shed in Tenby to a manufacturing facility in Cardiff, where we employ 18 FTEs. We've secured private financing of north of £8 million to date. And I'm very proud that we've managed to build and implement the world's first ISO 13485 certified manufacturing plant in Cardiff for generating highly purified collagen from jellyfish. And we're also now starting to generate revenues from sales of our cell culture products. So in a way, the intuition that I had back in 2013 was correct. And this is now generating real excitement in the market for our chosen areas of interest. Next slide. So this just gives you a flavor of what we've got in the market to date. So as a company with angel investors, revenue is very important to try and generate early on. And when I set up Jellagen, I wanted to create a company that were producing widgets to sell into the market and market those from an early stage. Because the cell culture market has low regulatory hurdles, you don't have to get FDA or EU approval for selling research market materials. This was a very good entry level into the space. But that said, it has massive challenges going into that market. And over the years, we had to really focus on what the market needed. And we knew that in the area of cell culture, the world was moving from 2D cell culture, i.e. on the flat surface, and we're moving into growing cells in a 3-dimensional environment. So we're looking at new innovations for growing cells in 3D. So we spent a lot of our R&D effort trying to develop a hydrogel, and this hydrogel called Jellagen was launched on the market beginning of last year. But with that said, with COVID-19, launch was delayed because many labs were shut down because of that. But the next slide is just a bit more information on that. Oh, yeah, so we innovated because we recognized what the market was going for. The market was looking for new materials that could grow cells in 3 dimensions for a range of reasons, because the microenvironment of a 3-dimensional sphere is much more lifelike than growing on a flat surface. And there's a lot of interest in growing organoids for various drug modeling applications. The current product that is the market leader, which is called Matrigel, there's lots of customer dissatisfaction out there, but because there's nothing out there that really meets the specifications of what Matrigel can achieve in this market, people are having to use it. But COVID has provided us with an opportunity, because with the shutdown of laboratories, the way that Matrigel is manufactured on the back of a mouse that has a tumor, it meant a lot of the animal housing units were also shut down, which has led to a big supply issue for Matrigel, which has allowed all the younger innovative companies to kind of seize on that as an opportunity, of which we're also doing. We can now supply the market with a gel, and this is in collaboration with one of our partners, Solaria, based in Boston, who are growing cancer organoid models for drug modeling. It's allowed us to get a foothold now into that market and get people to work on this material as a new ECM, and Solaria have really developed really exciting technologies with patient-derived cancer cells that have given them better reproducibility and predictability of results using our collagen type 0, as unlike other materials, because of the inert nature and because of the USPs of the collagen chemistry, it doesn't give tumor cell signaling interference, which allows those cancer cells to be more patient-derived than they would be on, say, Matrigel, which contains a lot of chemistry, which kind of forces those cancer cells to do something slightly different. So that's very, very exciting for us. And we're now building our sales in Jellagen for that over this year as well. Next slide. But in addition to revenue-generating cell culture, our other ambition is developing collagen type 0 for medical devices. The collagen can, like all other collagens, can be formulated into a range of types, formats for medical applications, whether sponges, inks, powders, etc. And with our ISO certified facility, we can now engage with partners to do OEM type deals as well. Next slide. Yeah, so the question we get asked by our investors and new investors is, okay, well, collagen, how can it be superior to any other existing biomaterial? So over the last couple of years, we've done a lot of work in preclinical models that has shown that our collagen type 0 does have advantages over traditional mammalian-derived collagen, which is known now for many limitations and growing regulatory issues regarding safety and disease risk as well. But what we have found is that collagen type 0 can regenerate tissue in many indications, bone, wound, and I'll show you vocal cord is another area we're interested in. We found that it stimulates cell attachment and is critically, unlike from mammalian sources, is free from biochemical impurities and also human disease vectors. So this gives us a regulatory advantage. But one of the big advantages of collagen type 0 is its tissue reaction in vivo. When you put a foreign body into the body, it will create a foreign body reaction, which is pro-inflammatory. you get the reverse with collagen type 0, where you generate an anti-inflammatory response, which is very beneficial for blood formation and tissue healing, which I'll come on to next. Next slide. And this just shows you. So when you get a pro-inflammatory response, you get this inconsistent, weak healing going on with many biomaterials. But with a natural anti-inflammatory response, M2 macrophage response, which we found with collagen type 0, you see a much more organized, mature, and robust tissue healing going on. Now, the clinical benefit of that is leading to less scarring potentially. So this is really exciting. Again, wound healing is also another area that we're focused on as another target. And this just shows you, we did a model with a group in diabetic mouse. And this is an impaired wound healing model. As you can see, against the approved convention of care bovine collagen compared to our material, you see a much more efficacious healing process going on. So I'll just spend the last 2 minutes just talking about this as an entrepreneurial journey, from startup to SME. I'm now a serial entrepreneur now. This is my second time around. And there's some further thoughts. So growing venture-backed business is exciting. It is exciting. It's not fun. It's exciting, but it's challenging. It's enjoyable, but fun is a word that I would rather not use. But it's challenging. So at the beginning of Jellagen, we had to develop a clear, robust plan. No one had done this before at scale, and this was quite a crazy idea. So the plan had to be very clear and easily understood by investors, which is why we went down the revenue model of cell culture. You then need to think about, when you're setting up a business, finding the right kind of investment at the right stage the business is at. You have early stage investors, which tend to be what we call angels. They tend to be high net worth individuals with lots of money that like investing in small companies. You'll then move up the value chain to venture capital, which is more sort of more professional type investments for higher risk projects. Ideally, if you can generate revenue to become break even and generate profits, that's the best to go. But sometimes the higher risk market products tend to need to have VC intervention and later on private equity. But one of the things crucial to success, has been crucial to Jellagen's success, is an eye on good project and alliance management. It is absolutely so valuable and has led to the successes we've seen to date with the Mayo Clinic and other partners that we've had in our portfolio. Exit, again, you need a good idea of what the investor is going to get their exit and the money back in time. What keeps me awake at night? Cash flow is pretty much it. Sales, and also position in the market. You know, we have to have good IP management to ensure that our position in the market is maintained, because we know that, you know, other people will try and come in. And lastly, this is sort of pretty much affecting my first company, but the financial environment is also key and is critical, because if the financial environment changes for any reason and money dries up, that is obviously a challenge to companies. And, you know, two examples being the dot-com crash of 2001 and the financial crash of 2008. You know, that the knock-on effects of 2008 particularly had a big impact on venture capital, which was reliant on my first company, which we then had to kind of put it to bed much earlier than normal. So we got it acquired by a Canadian company, which was great news, but unfortunately before its time. So that leads me to my third point. If you're going to get into this game, you've got to have a good degree of entrepreneurial resilience. This is an area that I've actually spoken to as a single subject area, but don't be afraid of the F word. Failure, it happens. You know, many entrepreneurs don't succeed the first time, and they're very lucky if they do, and that is the truth. The thing is, though, you've got to learn from that, why things went wrong, for the reasons. Sometimes it's in your control, sometimes it wasn't, but learn from that, get back on the saddle and try again. And many successful entrepreneurs that I know, the reason they're successful, because they've been in it longer than I have. They've had longevity and the tenacity to drive it forward to some successful endpoint. So that's from my side. So thank you very much. Really, real pleasure. Thank you.